Hey there, everyone out there in SERP Focus land. Hope everyone's doing great today. Hope everyone's ranking their sites, kicking ass, taking names. I wanted to make this video for you though, because a couple of days ago, Brian contacted me, and Brian, he said he hit me up. He said go out on a limb and see if he can get in touch with me or someone who is currently doing SEO, making money, and he is brand new to SEO. Just got in, just literally learned the term SEO. I believe he said in the past few weeks. So he is brand new to this, and he wanted to see if I could help him out, give him some guidance or just some insight into what SEO is, how it works, how to make money with it, and just kind of a basic understanding of this whole thing. So I agreed to get on a call with him and talk. It ended up being a pretty long call, but I recorded the entire call and I wanted to kind of share this with everyone else. Now, just a bit of warning, it is a very long call. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. And this isn't, high technical SEO strategy kind of stuff. This is very basic SEO, what it is, how to make money with it. So depending on where you're at in your business, this may not be for you. Then again, you might just want to throw it on. We do talk about some good stuff, just mindset. If you're just getting started in SEO, maybe you're in some training courses, haven't really ranked a website, I would suggest watching this because we talk a little bit about the importance of taking action and how to really focus on going to the next level with what you're doing and understanding what you're doing so you can continue to grow in your SEO understanding and in your business. But um, after having this call, I had a great idea and something I thought that would be great if I could do for the community. And because unfortunately I can't get on, a 2 hour call with everyone and answer all your questions, whether you're brand new to SEO, you want to know the basic stuff, or if it's, very advanced mass page generation, PBN, article syndication, any of those types of questions. And I know everyone's got questions that they want to ask or they're trying to further their understanding of something in the industry. So after making this video and putting this out here and sharing this with the community, I decided I wanted to start a new series called SERP Focus Segments. And in this series, pretty much we'll be going over general tips, tricks, techniques, kind of anything and everything SEO related. But most importantly, I want to get your questions answered. I want whatever it is that's on your mind, whatever confusion, something you don't understand, whether it's extremely technical or it's just getting started with the fundamental understandings of SEO. So with that concept in mind, if you go into the Facebook group, ask any questions you have there. It could be about SEO, PBNs, getting clients, just general questions about how I got started or my business, whatever it is. Go ahead and ask it. I'm there to answer all your questions, but I will be taking those questions and a lot of those things and featuring them in the SERP focus segments where I can just talk for a little bit, get your questions answered, and go into a little bit more detail as if we were on a call one-on-one. Because like I said, I can't get on a call with everyone, but I want to get your questions answered. So get into the Facebook group, ask your questions. I'll answer them in short videos in the SERP focus segments. And with that, let's get into the call. You can go ahead and watch the call. Hope you get something out of it. If you have any questions about anything we talk about in the call, again, get in the group, ask your questions, and I'll see you in there. Enjoy.
Hey man, good afternoon.
Hey Brian, how's it going?
I'm all right. It's a really hot day. I just got done processing all my college stuff. It's school's next week, unfortunately. So just been doing that. How about yourself?
I just pretty much been working all day. Took a few calls, a few meetings, and then just playing around with some SEO stuff too. It's been kind of fun.
Really? So you don't do SEO full time, or you do?
Oh no, I do SEO full time, but I have my client SEO business, and then I do some affiliate marketing, some PPL. I have quite a few different areas that I make money with SEO though. So like SEO is kind of the foundation of all of it. I'm getting a little more right now into some paid marketing, promotion, some more e-commerce stuff, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, pretty much everything up until this point has been mostly SEO based, which I work from home, but not all just client SEO.
Wow, that's that's very admirable, and it's even more astonishing to me because this is, by what you told me, this is all without a college degree.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah. No, me in
that's the
college
best
definitely
part.
didn't work out.
Yeah, try telling my parents that. My parents, I feel like everyone in my generation's kind of been brainwashed by society into thinking that college is the only possible way that you can be successful, and I just can't do it. I can't succumb to it.
Well, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, or there's definitely a place for college. I wouldn't want my surgeon taking some online course and then come and slicing me open to do open heart
Absolutely.
surgery or
And,
something.
and I, and
But
I told them that, if you want to work on somebody's brain, go to college, but there are plenty of ways to learn how to have money-making skills, and I feel like college isn't the only way to do that, but they want me to put myself in debt, they want me to go get a degree, and they want me to just fill out applications all day and just get a job. And it's funny because I have a friend who's coming back from Mississippi State, and he has this degree in engineering, and I'm like, damn man, degree in engineering, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm actually I'm moving back in with my parents. I gotta get a job. I'm like, wait, what? Like, and it's like, wow, that doesn't sound exciting at all. And he's like $45,000 in debt, and I'm like, that's gonna be me soon. That's gonna be me, and I can't do it. So um, I feel like I should explain how I found the whole SEO stuff. Well, I, how did I came across a YouTuber named Alex Becker. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He has
yes,
a
yes.
he has a course called SourceWave. But the way I came across him, it's funny. I was watching car videos on my PlayStation on YouTube, and I saw one of his videos. It had Ferrari in the title, and I'm a car enthusiast, so I clicked on it, and I found his videos pretty entertaining. So I started getting more and more into it, and there was a video where he talked about what he does for a living, and he says he does SEO, and he made his multi-million-dollar business off of it. So that was the first time I've ever heard the term SEO been used, and I added him on Facebook as I started seeing his content more frequent and much more frequently. I started to research what it is and how it's an entire industry that you can make money off of, and I
Yep.
I started to get into it more and more, and it's pretty wild. It's cool, definitely.
Yeah, no, the possibilities are definitely endless. There's so many different ways. I mean, really, the internet is just a advertising marketing channel that is very low cost, very low barrier to get into, and there's just so much you could do with it. It's just like marketing and advertising, not on the internet, but that usually comes with a much higher price than
Mhm.
just putting up a website. And especially with SEO, when understand the ins and outs of Google's algorithm and be able to get a website to generate traffic through organic search, like I said, there's so many different possibilities with the amount of search and what people are doing and looking for online and all the different markets and everything available.
Mhm. Well,
So,
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
oh, no, no, were you gonna say something?
Um, I I feel like so far, since you're gonna walk me through it, I feel like I should explain what I know so far. Because these past couple of days have kind of been I've just been absorbing endless information on SEO. So what I've learned so far, I'm not a very tech savvy guy. I know the basics of everything, but
Me
not.
neither. I'm not a
Uh,
technical guy
I've
at all.
I've never gone overboard with it to the point where I like know how to code or anything. It's not like
Hmm.
that for me. I'm more of a musician than anything. But with SEO, I've learned that SEO, search engine optimization, is basically where you take you're taking a website and you are making it much more easier to find. You're ranking it on Google. You're making it much more easy to find on the first results page. So if I take someone's website and I perform this whole SEO thing on it, it will whatever it is that's done, it makes it appear in the first results, generating more traffic towards it, which is kind of an investment on the business owner's part because they'll receive more clients or customers or something like that. So it's like advertising for someone else's service or product.
Or your own, exactly. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that's why I said there's so many. If you get into e-commerce, if you're selling a product online, you can use search engine optimization to drive more traffic and sell that product. You
Mhm.
can use it to capture leads for a specific industry in any given area. So when people come to your website and they call that phone number, that call gets forwarded to a business, and that business pays you $25 a call, $50 a call, $100 a call, depending on the service and the industry, or however that's set up. There's so many different models, but you essentially got the foundation right. Is yes, you are doing something to a website or any type of property that is a website at the end of the day to make it show higher in search results. But the one part that you didn't really mention is more specifically for specific keywords that are generating traffic. You know what I mean? You're not, if
Oh,
you
that's
show
right.
up for, reliable best roofing company located in the Chicagoland area, no one's searching that search. You know what I mean? Maybe combined
Right.
long tail searches now with mobile search and people doing the voice to text. There's all different, many long tail searches, but you have to be able to target the proper keywords, and not only just the proper keywords that are getting traffic, but understanding search intent, because just because someone is searching for something, that doesn't mean that that query is going to get them to convert into a customer, or that's necessarily the person you want to target for your service. But yes, exactly. It's you're getting more traffic and exposure to your website through making it show up in the first page of Google for targeted keywords.
Right.
Definitely.
So, for an example, I that was one of the things I did forget to mention. It's just so much at once, but I was taking what I was learning on a little article and I was applying it as if I were doing SEO now. So I typed in. Unfortunately, I live in the state of Mississippi. I'm not from Mississippi. I'm from LA. But anyways, I typed in my city is called Gulfport. So I typed in Gulfport dentist, and the first search results page popped up, and it's the most popular dentist that everyone knows around here. Then I went to page 3 and I found a dentist that I actually passed by every day on the way to school, um, and I noticed that he was on page 3. So if I were to apply SEO to his business, I could make him pop up on the first search results page and generate more traffic towards him, and he could become a potential client through the keywords Gulfport dentist. Is that on the right path?
Yeah. People searching for a dentist. I mean, even people in your general location, if they just go to the search engine and type in dentist, or Gulfport dentist, and get his website to show up, then yeah, people would visit his site because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a dentist they can go to in the area, and they'll contact him, set up an appointment, checkup, whatever it is, and you're generating more calls, more leads, and more business for his company by providing those services to rank his website.
Wow, right. So how does that process work? First of all, how would you how do you know what to charge for a service like this? You're advertising someone else's business for them by getting them more potential clients. So how do you know what to charge them?
There's a few different mindsets when pricing for SEO services. The most basic one, which is what a lot of people do, especially the people that I found that aren't really, uh, if you're not really providing a result, you're getting their website to the first page. Usually the ones that are providing SEO services where they're doing like a certain backlink campaign or just saying we're doing this and this and this every month. And they'll just charge on a profit and loss, how much money they're making on that campaign. So, if their campaigns regularly cost them $400, maybe they'll charge 900 or $1,200. Generally, though, the more common way you'll see SEO priced, and it's definitely more common nowadays in the communities, and when you talk to different people, is pricing your SEO based on the value of the service. So, SEO, it might cost you, say, $400, $300, but if you can generate that dentist an extra $50,000 in revenue a month, and I don't know what the search traffic looks like for your specific area, but just as an example, then you might charge that dentist two, three, $5,000 a month, depending. Like when you start talking in way more competitive areas, like sometimes dentists or doctors, especially lawyers, is very competitive. When you start looking at like a personal injury attorney in Chicago, Illinois, if you can make a website show up on the first page for keywords like personal injury Chicago or personal
Hey,
injury lawyer Chicago, that's a lot of money for an attorney. So generally people will price that based on the fact that they're going to be making them hundreds of thousands of
so
dollars a
their
month in
return, yeah, their return,
business.
their return on the investment is so well worth it that they're willing to pay you such a high amount of money. Wow,
And
that's
it's honestly, it makes the most sense to do that way, price it that way, assuming that you can get results. I've talked to a lot of people that will, they'll charge $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, but then if they're not on the first page in 3 months or 6 months, they offer like a refund or they continue the SEO until they get to the first page and then start charging. However the business is set up, there's many different ways to do that. But
Mhm.
when you focus more on the return on investment, assuming you can actually provide that type of return for the client and you can show them that return, you could actually show them the keywords, you could show them the traffic, and if you have like call tracking, tracking the form on their website, and you can show them that lead increase. Not only is it a win-win for you and your client, but you have a long-term client for life essentially. You know what I mean? If you're making them an extra 200, 100,000 a month, they'll pay that 3, 5,000 every month without even questioning it.
Wow. So let's say so the renting process. So you finally so that's there's a couple of like little parts that I wouldn't understand. I don't understand how they work. So once the first thing you do when all right, I'm sorry, I'm becoming jumbled up. All right. So when you're going to do SEO, what is the first thing that you do? Like when you were in my shoes and you were beginning SEO, what did you do when you were getting your first client? How did you start that?
Me specifically, I actually got my first client was the business I was working for at the time. I was pretty much handling their business growth development. I'd set up all their kind of internal SOPs and procedures and handled like all their marketing and kind of helped their business get to where it was. And I saw the huge opportunity in SEO. I had done a lot in just the internet marketing arena with sales funnels and emails and different types of advertising, PPC up until that point, but I hadn't really, went head first into SEO. I learned a little bit, touched on it a little bit, but I saw this huge opportunity, and this was after I think one of the Penguin updates because they were previously getting SEO from another provider. It was like $300 a month. They had them ranked on the first page for their three main keywords that they wanted, and then the Penguin update hit, and they dropped to like page 7, 10, wherever. I don't even know. They like disappeared. And then today, actually, with all the other updates that's happened since then, they've moved back up, and I think they're on like page 2 or 3. But I pretty much went to my boss and said, "Hey, uh, there's a huge opportunity with this SEO thing. I know the other guys didn't work out. Now they want 500, 1,000, whatever they wanted a month to fix it and re-rank it." And I was like, how about we do this in-house? I'll handle everything. You just cover the cost and we'll get your site re-ranked. So he essentially, paid for my first PBN websites, all the pretty much everything that I needed to get started. Probably spent like 5, 6 grand on tools and sites and all this stuff, but he agreed that I could just, he was paying for the cost, but I was owning everything. I owned the sites, the tools were under my name. So he kind of kick-started my company by paying for his SEO cost and getting his website ranked. And
Oh, thus giving you what you have or what you currently use now.
well, yeah, and just getting me a lot of those resources because I had money. I was working, I had money to pay the bills, and I was investing money in other little things online at the time. But like I said, just not really SEO. But I saw the huge opportunity, and I was thinking if I could just get a good 5, 6,000, build a PBN, get all these tools, and mostly just start testing. That's really what the value I saw, and it was playing around with someone else's money so I could really learn and understand what SEO was. And he knew too. It's not like I just went out and got a client, was like, I'm going to sell you on SEO, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. He knew that this is something new. I wasn't sure about it, but I had a good understanding. He trusted my knowledge and my ability to learn and pick up on these things. So, and it all worked out too. It worked out for him, so that was good. But yeah, he gave me those initial resources then, and I went out and I found another client. So now I knew how to rank a website. I had all the resources I needed. I had a PBN, all the tools, um, you know, uh, VPS, hosting, everything. And I went and found another client. I got them to pay $2,000 a month for SEO.
Hmm.
And it just started from there. And then found another client, and then started doing some other things and made some friendships and learning some other stuff.
That's
And
that, that's exactly what I want to do. I do not want to go to school next week. Well,
what are you going
so
to school for, by the way?
Oh, my major for my 4-year plan is going to be business, and then I was going to go off to law school afterwards. I'm currently going to school um, I received a 30 on my ACT, so I got a huge discount on my tuition. So I'm not paying.
There's a lot of lawyers in SEO. I don't know if you know, and a lot of people that went to school to be a lawyer or get into law. I don't know, it's just a common thing I found, and now they do SEO. I think my lawyer wants to start doing SEO too. He's not liking how much money he's making compared to me.
Yeah, I was gonna get into something maybe like corporate law or something around that, and I was strictly in it for the money, but I kept, I don't know, it's like every day is always it's always another question. Is this really worth it? Am I doing the right thing? But I feel like
Well, that's
SEO
a
is
lot
something.
of work too. Like, being a
It
lawyer
is.
isn't, you don't just sit back and rake in the money, you know.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I just, I've
Well,
just,
you don't really sit back and rank the money, anywhere, but
yeah.
being a lawyer
I've
definitely
seen
is a
too
lot of
many of my
work.
friends make it through college and come out and actually do what their parents told them to do, and they hate themselves. And I just, it's slow. The clock's ticking, and I got to figure something out. And I feel like SEO is something that if I learn the right skills and I, stick my mind to it, I feel like I can do very well at it. Such as yourself. You're all the years of experience that you have in it, it's benefited you in the long run. That's kind of what I want for myself because at the moment I am a penniless college student, and I'm going to remain as one for the next 4 years. That includes law school, so another couple of years. So with SEO, so how does the whole ranking a website work? So I want to talk about ranking a website, and I want to talk about how once you get that, like, do you make the website from the ground up, or are you taking the website? How does that work? And then, like, do you constantly manage it? Do you have access to this website? And
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said this. The way you set up your SEO business, however you're using that to make money, there's so many different ways. The most foundation level is doing client work, usually where you just get a client to pay you to do SEO services on their website. So, use their website, you put content on their website, you optimize their site, you optimize their Google Plus and social properties and do their link building.
I'm
So you essentially do all the services for their site and get their site ranked.
okay. Hang on a second. I actually have a notebook here. I'm going to be taking notes if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And then generally you charge them a monthly budget for whatever that is.
So
And
the first step. So let's from my perspective, with someone who hasn't touched anything yet, I haven't paid a dime into SEO. What would be the first thing that I would do? Would I once I find a market, a niche? I think it's called a niche, like a target
a
area.
niche, a vertical, yeah, there's many
Right.
different. But
S-
yeah,
s-
essentially a business or a service, somewhere that you can market for any specific service.
And it sounds
Um,
it sounds like the one that you say that the best niches are lawyers and doctors and dentists. Or did you say that they were the most competitive?
they're the most competitive, and there's definitely more money in it. But it's not just about being competitive. Even some of those smaller, like plumbers, for instance, if you go to Google and do the keyword research, there's not always huge traffic for plumbers. Huge
Uh,
search traffic in some areas, but everyone needs plumbing services at some point in their life in almost every area. So it's a much lower barrier, kind of not as competitive as a lawyer, but there still is money in it. If you're good at ranking in the plumbing niche and you can get a bunch of clients to pay you, or if you start building your own sites and charging people per call. So you don't want to just limit yourself saying, oh, this is big money. Anything, especially when you're starting off, I usually suggest kind of getting into whatever has the least barrier. So for instance, for you, before you even talk about getting into, getting a client or getting that, the first thing you really need to do is learn SEO. So you have to get a really good understanding of what it is, how it works, and then you have to actually do it. And you can do it. You don't have to rank for astronomical keywords to learn SEO and understand how to do it and be able to do it. You don't have to rank for the most competitive niche in the most competitive areas. You can work with free properties with Web 2.0s, even just creating um, you buy a $10 domain with a cheap hosting or $100 for the year or whatever it is, and just start building WordPress sites and a Facebook page and really you just have to dig in and start doing it. Once you kind of get the understanding of how that works and how you can get a website ranked, then like I said before, it's just getting in at the lowest barrier. So like you said, you were searching for that dentist, one dentist that you pass all the time.
Right.
I would just stop in there and try to talk to whoever's in charge about doing their marketing and see if they'd be interested in SEO services. Obviously, if you can't solicit or whatever, make
Oh
sure
yeah,
you're
right.
not breaking any laws or anything. But
Talking to them and actually getting them to agree. I apologize. Talking to them shouldn't be a problem, but it's like, say they say yes. I don't really have the prerequisites or the skills
well, that's why I
to.
said you have to start doing it. You have to build a website, put up some pages of content, maybe do some blogging.
Mhm.
And honestly, to do SEO, to get an understanding of on-page optimization, optimizing social
So would I be
media.
rebuilding their website that already exists, or would I
No, no, no.
like?
You would just use their website. If you need to change, add content or add more pages, then you would do that for their site. But for your purposes, you need to learn SEO. So you would buy a website and play around with it. Put up a website. And if you think dental would be a place you'd want to target, then try and make a little website for a fake dentist. You know what I mean? And try and rank for just a
Oh, and
local.
then generate it, get it ranked. So okay, so what I'm hearing, so I go ahead, buy the domain, get everything set up off, what is it? WordPress is the software that you use to create the site.
It's the most commonly used. Yeah, it's the
Okay,
easiest
so I'll be
to
sure to
get
go ahead
into.
and get WordPress. So use that, add a bunch of, you know, words that are relevant to dentistry, so Google can pick that up. Make the website of a fake dentist. Once I do make the accomplishment of having it ranked, how does the process of him renting that site from me work? Do I just like how does that?
So there's two trains of thought on that, and that's why you could target somewhere else for your dental. But if you rank a website for a dentist, they have software that you can use to overlay your website with his website, or you can just use when you make the website, use a tracking phone number, so you could just forward the calls to his company, and you can even put, maybe like his logo on the site. But that's if you're also charging per call. Generally, what I was referring to in the beginning was selling him services. So the point of ranking the website for dentist would just be to learn how to rank a website in the dental niche, essentially.
Okay.
Um, and then when you go to him and sell him services, you can use that as a case study. If you actually rank it in his area, he'd probably be interested in just taking that site or whatever. And you could also just sell sites too. There's plenty of people that build websites and flip them and sell them for, 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand. I've
And
I've
those
heard of sites
websites,
selling for like 200,000. Huh?
wow. And those websites that are being sold, the people who are flipping them, are they what you described to be? Are they the fake ones? They're just ranked high?
Well, they could be lead gen websites. Some people make affiliate websites or e-commerce websites. It's really, you're essentially just selling a marketing and advertising asset, or in some case, even just a business model for that matter. If a website can produce this much over a period of time and you're selling it just like you sell a business, if someone makes an investment and they make their money back after 3, 6 months, uh, that's a no-brainer if the investment's good. So that's really what you're just selling is an investment in this advertising or marketing channel. But again, that's just a whole nother
Right.
way to make money with this whole thing. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you want to get that foundational understanding of how to rank a website. And that you don't want to stop with that. You don't want to just rank a website and then go out there and start selling people. Consistently play around with things, test new things. Um, just really, you got to just get 100% involved. Like it sounds like you said you were just kind of learning and learning and learning, but you really have to put all that knowledge into action. Really start acting on every little thing you learn. If you're learning about on-page optimization after you're finishing watching that video, you should have like 2 or 3 websites. You registered the domains, you have them on hosting. You could jump on over and start playing with some of that on these websites and seeing what happens and how the rankings are going, and really understanding about what type of actions produces what type of results when it comes to search engine optimization.
So, based off all of your experience, and and with me being someone who is completely new to this world, what is a niche that would be good for someone for a rookie like myself, you know, something it sounds like lawyers and dentists, anything in that criteria like that health criteria sounds a little there's a lot of money in it, but it's you know it's kind of I'm not there yet. So a niche that I could fool around with that I could profit off of locally.
Yeah, definitely. Do you see my screen?
I do.
Okay, so let me just jump on over to Google Keyword Planner. Really, the main thing that you know, it's hard to say what's the perfect niche or what's a good niche to get into. Really, anything that's not crazy competitive, something
This
that
site that you're using, Keyword Planner, I'm writing it down. So what is the purpose of this site? What does this do for you?
this is from Google AdWords. It's their tool that helps people see kind of how many times people are searching for keywords.
AdWords.
For because they also, Google does PPC where people will bid on specific keywords. So it's often used for SEO, but also PPC to determine what type of keywords you want to be targeting and going for, based on what people are searching for. So
Okay, so used to determine keywords and what
and
was
their
that?
search traffic.
And their search traffic. Okay.
And there's a lot of different keyword tools out there. Some of them use Keyword Planner to pull their data. Some of them use, other data like SEMrush, which we could talk about a little bit later for reporting and analysis. But there's definitely a wide range of tools. I think this Keyword Planner is currently doing some updates where they're not really showing as much of the traffic, the search data of what people are searching for, where it'll say like a range of how many people search a month as opposed to when it used to say like 22,000 searches a month.
Uh-huh.
But I think mine still just says the search traffic, but I've talked to a few other people that have experienced that. So there's a lot of different ways to gauge competition, and we could go down a major, very deep rabbit hole right now with domain metrics and domain authority.
That's the advanced SEO thing that yeah, I heard about that on a website. I didn't want to get into that because it just looked very, very complex.
Yeah, and that you can, I mean, you'll definitely learn about metrics and everything over time, and we could even talk about those a little bit. But just for the sake of just being simple, which is really, I've always been pretty simple. I don't go too heavy into keyword research. Don't go too crazy on like competitive keyword research, like trying to find the easy target keywords or the ones that I could rank in like 24 hours. I essentially pick what I want to rank for and rank for it. I'll do competitive research so I can, kind of use part of that as my backlink campaign and understanding of how to rank my site. But I don't pay too much attention to like digging into metrics and all the details that everyone else kind of talks about a lot. When at the end of the day, if you just kind of go take action, do an understanding of how people are ranking and why they're ranking for those key terms, and incorporate that into your campaign, your anchor text ratios, all that other good stuff. You could rank for pretty much anything. Sometimes it'll just take more money, more effort, but so as far as choosing like a vertical that's easy to target, even dentists, lawyers, there are easy to target keywords because there's keywords that just don't get a lot of traffic. So I'm from Chicago, so if I do put in here Chicago plumbers
Chicago plumbers, okay.
and say I put in another town, Addison plumbers, which Addison is, I used to live in Addison too.
Okay.
So we click get ideas, and right now it's saying it's searching all locations. So this is all over the US. You could actually click this right here and put in Illinois, or you can just put in even Chicago and
Uh-huh.
see what's being searched in Chicago. But since we're doing Addison and Chicago, I'll just put Illinois so we could see how many people in Illinois are searching these. Okay, so you can see how Chicago Plumbers has 720 searches a month and
Right.
Addison Plumbers has 10 searches a month. So um, the search traffic, this right here will kind of give you an idea of competitiveness. just because something has a high search traffic doesn't make it competitive, and just something doesn't have low search traffic doesn't make it competitive. But
Oh,
we're
so the big numbers shouldn't be scary or anything. So I don't have to avoid something based on how many searches it has.
No, but what you have to understand is that the bigger the area and the more populated, and this is mostly I'm talking about right now local search. When you're talking about, other different kinds of search, national search and products and e-commerce, it's a little bit different. But when we're talking about competitiveness within a local search for a specific industry, um, there's a few different things that I look at, and this is one of them. So, this is a suburb of Chicago, and often what I'll do is I'll do Illinois cities by population. Oops, if I could spell, can't type it all. And I'll do this for any state that I'm necessarily, trying to target. But I think Wikipedia usually has the nice easy chart here,
Oh wow.
which
Okay.
you could just sort by population. So the other thing is not just looking at search, but generally what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an area that doesn't have a huge population. So I know there's not a lot of major uh, money probably being spent on marketing in those areas because it's just not a huge money maker kind of
Right.
thing.
Okay.
Let's see if Plano has any, because that looks like one of the smaller ones. Oops, get ideas. And then you can also search. See, so that one does have some search volume. And then if you do plumbing Plano, so you see this string. So there are people searching for this stuff, and that's why I said plumbing is usually a pretty safe one because everyone uses plumbing. Uses
Right.
plumbers everywhere. Everyone has indoor plumbing. So Um, that's one I play around with the plumbing niche a lot, just like testing and stuff. So that's an example of a good low barrier one. Um, Even something though, when you start looking at like long tail searches for like a car accident or personal injury or workman's comp attorney or a plastic surgeon or something like that, in those smaller areas or especially in those more niche down services, so like plumbers or plumbing, that's like a kind of umbrella search. But if
Right.
you search for things like sub pump repair,
Oh,
Plano.
something very specific. Okay.
Exactly. So you can also, so when you're trying to play around with your website, you're not just trying to rank for one keyword. You know what I mean? You want to try and rank for a bunch of different strings of keywords. So that's why you'd have a service page and then individual service pages for, you know, uh, leaky drain or clogged sink or, something like that, burst pipe
Creating this
repair.
website with all these specific, like precise keywords that is going to make Google put it at the top. So the website's not being ranked based off just one. The website isn't being ranked just by you putting in one thing on Google. Like if I put in Gulfport Dentist, I'm not ranking the dentist's website only if someone puts in Gulfport Dentist. It's in general. No matter what, if anyone puts in anything related to dentistry, he's going to find his website at the top.
Yes, and you can be more optimized for more like specific keywords. So you could be number one for one and be number eight, or even be on the second page for. So you could be number one for or number three Plano plumbers, and then be number 18 for plumbing Plano,
Will
just
clients
because
pay for
of the
that?
optimization. Google has evolved quite a bit over the years, and keyword queries used to be a lot more cut and dry, where you could be number one for Plano plumbers and not be anywhere for plumbing Plano. But Google has gotten into more a semantic web with semantic search, really understanding what people are searching for and what they mean with the words they're using and the phrase they're using them. So nowadays, in general, if you're going to be relevant for plumbing Plano, you're going to be relevant for Plano plumbing or Plano plumbers or plumbers in Plano. So yeah, I mean, generally you'd be showing up for all those keywords, but also you'd want to target all those keywords. You don't just want to say plumbing, Plano plumbers over and over again on your website. You're going to want to use different strings and talk about Plano outside of just plumbers, but sub pump bursting in Plano or things like that outside of just that one keyword phrase. So there is an overall understanding of what your website is about and what it's relevant for, and then also a zero down, kind of narrowed down understanding of what page is relevant for what keywords and what phrases and queries are they more relevant for, based on the optimization.
And does someone doing SEO, do they always have to shoot for being the number one ranked? I mean, will clients pay you even if their website is 4 or 5 on that first results page?
Yeah, you will people will pay to be on the first page. Obviously, being number one is best, especially being number one for the most searched phrases. But with long tail search, and like I said, people searching on the phones or with their devices, people will search like "Where's a good plumber in Plano?" or something like that, or where can I Plano and plumber phone numbers or something like that. So there's a lot of different types of searches. So you may not show up number one, but you still will generate traffic from long tail search, and of course even that exact match search showing up in the second, third, or fourth. But you will get your clients a much better return, and that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. If they could see the return and see the investment making sense for their business, then they'll stay on. But you can generate traffic without being number one. I mean, I have
Is that
quite a
something that
few
you
lead gen
clarify to
sites.
them? Is
Huh?
that something that you clarify to them, that they will not always be showing up as number one or number two, blah blah blah? Is
Yeah,
that
and once you learn SEO and kind of get your hands dirty and understand it a little bit better, setting the right expectations for your client is one of the most important things up front when selling your services. So they understand that SEO does take time. It could be 60 to 90 days before they get to the first page or before you really see results. I usually tell clients 4 to 6 months to really see a return, to get on the first page and see a return. But often we'll see within 60 to 90 days, hopefully within the 4 month area, be getting some results and get a return so we can kind of set the expectation further, but then over deliver by getting it in, twice the time. But they definitely need to have an understanding that you're going to show up for multiple things. You're not just going to be number one for, certain things and what you want to be. And at the end of the day, that your service is about providing, more leads, more business for their company. It's not just about showing up number one on Google, because you can get them to show up number one on Google for things that nobody is searching for and no one ever types in. But that doesn't matter if they're not getting the business from it.
right?
So,
If they're not making money from it, that's right.
exactly.
And how are all these variables and all this data? How is it recorded? How is it looked at?
So there's a lot of different things that go on with SEO as far as on-page signals, off-page signals, and back to what I was originally saying with kind of this low competition area is, so if you look at the population, it's kind of low. There's not a huge search volume, and obviously it's not something that's a huge money maker. If you're targeting keywords where real estate Plano or something where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars, multiples of hundreds, being made and selling homes and mortgages and stuff like that, that's going to be competitive almost no matter where you go. But if you
right.
actually search this term, the main thing that I usually look for is, first of all, is there other individual local businesses ranking? So like this one right here looks like an exact match domain. It's got the actual keyword Plano plumbing TX, but that's in Texas.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm in Las Vegas. That's why I'm probably not getting anything in Chicago. But when you see something where it's dominating, like a local search is dominated by something specific, like, I don't know, if I did do um, real estate, Plano real estate. Okay, so you see realtor.com, you see Zillow, and you see all these different sites that almost no matter what you type in here, you're going to see those main sites come up and they just kind of own these listings. That's a
Uh-huh.
high competition. Okay, when a local search is dominated by um, a major competitive site, especially if you don't see local sites. And that's why I said I like to see local sites, because if I see something that's specifically local to that area, like I did when I was over here, Plano Plumbers. I see a local pack right here which has local business, which this is also an opportunity to do SEO with these local listings and show up in this 3-pack here. But then the organic SEO, if I can see Plano Plumbing Pros and see other, local listings for local small businesses and not just these major, monster sites, and it's a somewhat smaller area, like this, not just a major like Chicago or something. Because even
Hmm.
Chicago, you'll find a local plumber probably show up for Chicago plumbers, but that doesn't mean it's low comp. So when I look at all these things kind of combined, that just makes it like a good test area for me. At least that's when I first got started. That's kind of what I was looking at to determine, yeah, let's play around with this vertical and kind of see what happens. But now when you start looking at a website, specifically, let's jump over to this one. This is apparently Plano, Texas, which is more searched than Plano, Illinois, but you could still optimize for Illinois instead of Texas. So if you got a client and this is your client, so you're working on their website and you're going to rank their website for keywords. So, you want to get a list of keywords from Keyword Planner, do some research. You could look through some of the specific services on their site, assuming you're not in plumbing. Like when I first got involved in law, and even plumbers, there's terminology and things that not everyone's aware of. Just because if you haven't had that problem with your
Uh-huh.
home's plumbing, then you probably don't understand what those words are, or what they mean, or you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
So you can look through the plumber site, look through other keywords. Um, Often, what we'll do too is, like I said earlier, using SEM Rush. This is a website that you can put a website into, and it'll show you kind of an overview of what they're ranking for, what they're showing up for in Google.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and write that one down for you. That's another thing. Later, as you're finishing this explanation, I'd like to know all the best software. Well, not best that money can buy, but the things that someone who is starting SEO, someone should have, and websites and all sorts of resources that I could use to the best of my ability to make things easier.
No, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, the SEM Rush, this is like 70 or 80 bucks a month. It's definitely more costly. I know there's group buys and stuff out there you can get, where you just pay like $5 a month or something like that. And there's quite a few places, you could ask around and get access to those. But this essentially will show you, so you can see their website, number 2, Plumbers in Plano. And this also gives you search volume. Like I said, this is kind of one of the keyword research tools that I use to look at keywords outside of Keyword Planner. And this will show you the first 10 listings here. Obviously, plumbers in Plano, Texas, all these plumber keywords they're showing up for. And here's the general search volume. So there's obviously money in ranking for Plano plumbers, but this isn't for Illinois. This is obviously in Texas. So this is going to be a little bit more competition than what we were looking at over here.
And how do you I guess how do you modify someone else's website? If someone else has a website and you're optimizing it for them, how do you get access to their website
Well,
and
they would give you their login. So if it's a WordPress, like this doesn't look like a WordPress, but it might be. If we go to WP admin, yeah, so there would be, a login for WP admin, and you could sign in, make edits, make pages. If this is just HTML, then you get access to their hosting drive and you just download the files, make edits, or add new files. It's kind of little stuff that you'll have to learn along the way, but honestly, if you learn SEO, start playing around with WordPress, and you get a client that got an HTML website, you don't need to master HTML before you can go get your client. That kind of stuff is so basic. Updating an HTML, you go to Google, watch some YouTube videos.
okay.
So I wouldn't worry too much about that. How to update
Could
their
you give me
website.
those skills, those prerequisites that I need to know so I can write them down and go learn them before I, spend $10 on the whole domain part and actually and get WordPress and those kind
Honestly, that you need to get the domain, install WordPress, and just start doing that. You're not going to get any skills by learning them in with what you need to figure out to get started in this industry. So you need to, for everything that you learn, you need to be doing it 5 or 10 times somewhere else
of.
and actually really learning it, not just getting the understanding or a knowledge of what someone else has spent time to learn and actually knows. But now that you have the knowledge of it to actually go and learn how it really works and how it operates, and when you take an action and do something, how it responds. So, for example, like their homepage is ranking for all their keywords. So, real quick, first of all, their URL is a huge signal. Buying an exact match EMD, I'm not saying that having your keyword directly in your URL is a huge signal, because that in itself is not. It used to be. Google has an EMD update, which kind of devalues that necessarily, just having that keyword in there. But I can tell you from experience that having an EMD or a partial match EMD, like this one has pros in it, or if it was Plano plumbers and their main key, so like this is Plano plumbing and their main keyword is probably Plano plumbers because it has the most search volume. So this is kind of a partial match domain is what people would call it, but it's also kind of an exact match domain because Plano plumbing is also, a keyword. But
Oh,
having that in the URL will give you some extra weight and relevance, especially when optimizing the site, which I'll go into in a second. What were you going to say?
so when you have the site set up and you're ready to get your client and those kinds of things, when you said there's a software that you use to make their website yours basically, will the name of the website change? The URL, is that going to change, or it's still going to remain the same?
All those softwares that do that, the URL change stays the same. This stays the same essentially when you go to this page, or when you go to this page, or when you go to whatever page, their website pops up. And generally, then they would call, or so it would just look like their website on your URL. The other option is, like I said, is you can just use a call tracking number. Like if this was a call tracking phone number, and you just forward it to their phone, and do that. But the quickest way, if you're going to get into this, and if you can rank a website, you can maybe go and try and rent that website, but then
Mhm.
also just getting a client that has an established website. Like you said, when you can find a client that's already on page 3 or page 2, first
Mhm.
of all, you're not starting with a clean slate. You have an advantage that you're already ranking, assuming their website wasn't ranking a long time ago and then got penalized, and now they're, further back. But assuming their website wasn't previously penalized by Google for over optimized anchor text or negative, bad SEO tactics, then you can contact that person, sell them SEO, and it'll be a lot easier for you to get them their results because they've kind of had that, that initial start on the second or third page, as opposed to going from 0 to 100. You're going from 40 or 60 to 100.
So is renting a website to a client a little bit more simplistic than having the whole call forwarded thing going on?
Um, yeah, renting a website is a little bit easier just because it's a flat rate. You don't have to track the calls, and you just rent the website. You know what I mean? Especially if they're seeing a return, they'll stick with it. The pay per call, you'll make a lot more money, especially if you're in a niche where you're really generating leads. Because
Oh
when you
yeah.
can
No.
actually send them the call, a qualified call, and charge them per call, you're gonna make, there's just more opportunity. You can get more calls and make more money, as opposed to, if that website's rented for a flat rate, then that's all you're making off that site. Whether you do more SEO or less SEO, that's all you make. So if you have a client, though, like I said, if you start off with their site, really just having that fundamental understanding, like these guys, they're planoplumbingpro.com, and they have Plano plumbers in their H1. Like I said, this is probably their main keyword, so it's at the end of their H1. um, Definitely one of the strongest places for to have your keyword. Also, in the title, I don't remember where. Let's see. Plano Plumbing Pros, Plano Plumber. You see how it's also in their title?
Wow. So
So
I see that repetition of just that plain old plumber. It's like Google's picking that relevance up, and that's why they are where they are.
exactly, and there's plenty of other reasons too. Probably because they're off page. So like if we do Plano Plumbing Pros and just search for them, so you see here they have a Google My Business listing, um, with a map. I'm assuming this is them. Yep, that's them. So they have a listing here. I don't know if it's optimized. It looks like they have some photos. No, not too many photos, just one photo there. They might have, so, um, I'm assuming they probably have some other listings between like Angie's List or Yelp, Plumbing Plano Pros. It's like I said, it's an exact match domain. So I'd have to throw their website in another tool to look at that. I don't really want to get into all that right now, but let's jump over to majestic.com. This is just a keyword tool that's used to look at backlinks. Ahrefs is also another tool that's used to look at backlinks. And you can see this one doesn't have many backlinks at all.
Is that a subscription based service that you're using?
Yeah, exactly. They have free, like you could use them so many times a day, for free. Other than that, it's a subscription.
Okay. Are those
And
things that you think
like
that
this one here,
I'll
I have a group buy for Ahrefs just because I don't use it all the time. I use it occasionally just for analyzing backlinks, but um, so yeah, just looking at this one here, you could see it doesn't have many backlinks, but the referring domains and other things that are pointing to this website, these are also contributing factors for the website ranking. And it's not just the page that it's linking to, but also you can see how, and this is why I said their domain name and their brand has their keywords. It does carry weight because when they build a branded link to their website, it says Plano Plumbing Pro. So they're getting that relevance from Plano and plumbing in that anchor text. It is their brand, and they're not getting any extra weight because it's their EMD website. But if they're branding their website properly and also not over optimizing their anchor text for like plumbing and Plano and plumbers and all those other things, then they'll get great results, which these guys are because they don't have a lot of links and looks like they had some more links over the past 5 years. So if we look at 39 referring domains, 83 backlinks, and we can see if these links are still up. I'm assuming some of them are up, but it could just be carrying a lot of that weight from what it has. Let's see here. So hide. So they do have a Twitter page right here, which is another form of optimizing with your social media. And then they have some other links here. So not so many links, but you can kind of see how, having that Plano Plumbing in
oh
their
these,
brand.
these links help with the with Google seeing its legitimacy and its relevance. So I could make this fake dentist page and I could put links to Wikipedia about dentistry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, essentially, whatever you're linking to, you're telling Google that this page is relevant or authoritative for whatever reason. So, I mean, when you just understand the way the internet works and think about the way the internet works, if you own a blog and you're writing a quality piece of content about, um, I don't know, how to do uh, pipe cleaning or plumbing or fix your toilet or something, and you maybe have people that have other content on their website that like a local plumber that sells something that helps with it or whatever that is. If you're referencing that website as the website owner, you're saying, hey, I'm talking about plumbing or I'm talking about this. Go look at this website for additional information or for a better understanding about this. You know what I mean? Like when you go to Google and you type in Plano Plumbing and you get Yelp. Yelp is a website, a local business listing website where people go to find a business. So Google's returning that result because they think you're looking for, a local business and that Yelp page is relevant for that search, whether it's the search page on Yelp or it's the individual business. But when that Yelp listing has your name and your address, and then it links to your website, that's because your website is essentially your online business representation.
Hmm.
So, you know, that link is present to tell people click here for, more information to learn more about our company or learn more about this. When you run a press release and, there's a release across the internet and you have this content posted on all these different sites and it's referencing your site, whether it's a URL link or even if you reference like plumbing in Plano and you link that to your website, that anchor text of that link is communicating if you want to learn more about plumbing in Plano, or if you're looking for plumbing in Plano, go to this URL. So Google's really trying to return the best result, for what people are searching for, and the biggest advantage for an SEO is understanding that Google is looking at the rest of the internet to determine what is most relevant or what is the best result and why. So those types of backlinks, not just having the keywords on your page, in your heading, in your content, having those keyword variations throughout the content, and also having your on page with inner pages targeting additional keywords like hot water heater repair in Plano. Also having those off-page signals, your Facebook page where you're talking about hot water heater repair and building links to that page, or in your press release where you're talking about plumbing in Plano and then it's referencing your business in the release. Having that understanding that the entire internet is kind of your playground to optimize for these keywords is really what SEO is all about, at least on a holistic level, which is where I found most of my success. Not just optimizing one thing like on page or backlinks or whatever that is.
I see. So once your website, I'm going to keep using the fake dentist article as an example, but once that has been ranked to the top and I finally get that client and he agrees to rent it and I use that software to, have his website come onto mine where I still have control over it, how, why doesn't Google um, de-rank it? Why doesn't Google put it back down to the bottom since all that information has been removed in another
Well,
website?
the information isn't removed. That's why I said you'll be using a software that essentially overlays his website. And honestly, I wouldn't necessarily focus on renting that website. Personally, what I would do if you're looking and getting into client SEO, I would make a website and use it as a case study. So maybe not rank it in the exact town that like that dentist down the street you said, but rank it 3 towns over. You know what I mean? And then you can walk in there and say, "Look what I can do. Let me do this for your company." But then you can go to a dentist another town over, or somewhere else, and point at that website and say, "Hey, look what I'm doing for this dentist, and look what I've been able to accomplish. Here's, calls I'm getting." You could sell those calls, track them, whatever, just so you can show them proof. This is what I've done. This is how I do it. If you'd like me to do it for you, we can get started. And then you can kind of build on that, kind of build on that foundation. Eventually, you'll have clients and client reviews. Um, but I wouldn't look at it so much as a one and done, like you're trying to rank a website and rent it, unless that's the business model you're going for. But then in that case, you're not going to want to just rank one website. You're going to want to pick 10 towns right now and just start ranking websites like crazy, because you have to get those websites ranked before you can make any money. But if you just rank a website as a case study and you can walk into an office, a dentist office, and sell that case study to them to do services on their website, then you can do that over and over and over again and build your portfolio, build your client list,
That's
build your
exactly
reviews.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this little I think of it as like a little beta version for SEO for me. I want to build my very first website, toy around with it, and I want to use a little small local business here in the city of Gulfport and go to them, go to their competitors. And during my business pitch, once when I'm pitching the proposition to them, I'm going to mention that I'm going to be asking their competitors as well, just try to get that increased chance of them saying yes. And then when they give me that yes, and I'm finally making that monthly $1,000, then I'll go from there, and then I'll start diving more deep into the world of SEO and exploring other types of ways of profiting money. But for now, I mean, my position and where I currently am, $1,000 to me sounds crazy.
No, I know, and I was the same way for me. Just the thought of even making $1,000 a month from my home, not even having to get
Right.
up and go to work every day, just go sit in front of a computer and work. And then my first client was $2,000 a month, so I was like, holy shit! Like this is
Yeah,
like it
exactly.
blew my mind away, because it's like, man, if I just get another $2,000 a month client every month, I'm making 24 grand a month at the end of the year
That and
with my
that that's the
business.
most insane part to me, and it's yeah, and once it I don't know, once that pain threshold really starts getting to your head, because I mean, like right now, for an example, I'm my bank account is like overdrawn right now because like my my college expenses and all my other phone bills and things like that are starting to pile up. So this is why the SEO thing is really calling to me. I really want to get started as soon as I possibly can. So I really want to give it about another 2, 3 days of reading more information and getting the terminology. I want to know. I want to speak SEO. I want to speak all this software terminology, and then I will buy my first domain and I will target. I'm honestly, in terms of a niche, I think the one that I'm going to target, there were a few that looked pretty appealing. The first one was a dentist. The second one were veterinarians. There
Hmm.
are quite a few veterinarians down here um, that I feel like I'd like to get into. Florist as well. Um, and what was the other one? I believe it was like furniture repair. Those were the ones. And that was just simply by me just driving around town and just looking at local businesses. And the cool thing about living in a small town like this is that everyone knows everyone or everyone knows somebody. So it's not like I'm going to be just some strange I've never seen you before face. I'll know at least somebody in there. So my pitch won't be as out of
Oh
the ordinary.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cold calling is the thing that that kind of scares me because no one likes telemarketers. So
Well,
I,
look, I've done cold calling sucks. I hate cold calling. Screw that. I would say stay far away from that. If you can do that kind of thing, go for it. Not my bag at all. But like you said, in a town where people know each other, especially for me, I was in Chicago, big town. Not everyone knows everyone. Well, after you live there long enough, everyone knows everyone. It seems like, but
uh,
going to a local business networking event, pitching your, don't go and hard pitch everyone door to door that that's a good friend, but just literally going into the dentist office for a checkup and talking about SEO. I've signed so many
that
clients
was my
just
next question. How does
talking about it, you
what
know?
what is your pitch like? What? Not that I want to just you just plagiarize your thing, but what is a good way to pitch and most likely get that? Yeah, sure, I'd like to go ahead and try. And do you just immediately just whip out the contract and say, okay, that'll be $1,000 a month, or do you give them a free sample? Do you?
I
How
don't
do you?
know. I don't really do too much free work or anything up front. And my pitch, I used to pitch a lot more because I used to really want to sell. I'm not that as big into client SEO. It's definitely the easiest money for me. I still take clients. I got clients coming in, mostly referrals. Now I've played around with some lead gen and stuff here and there that I do occasionally, but it's mostly just fun for me. Um, and then of course providing the service for my clients I take very seriously too, but it's just not I'm not trying to build a huge SEO agency. That was really never like my main intention when I got into this thing. So when I first got started, I wanted to make money and just was really hungry to get into it and get to that $10,000 to $20,000 a month after I saw that
That's how
opportunity.
I am.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you dive in, and my pitch was, it wasn't anything fancy. If I had people contact me for SEO, it was, kind of just, talking to them, getting to know them, finding out what their needs are as a business, finding out what type of services they offer, where they make their money, kind of getting an understanding. And when you get a business owner to talk about their business, they'll tell you everything. Like business owners like talking about their business. So, you just sit and talk with them for a while and you kind of get an understanding of what they need, and you essentially sell them on the solution to what they could use, which is in my case was SEO. But with that understanding, saying, hey, let's look at some of these search terms and what comes up when people search for your service, or let's look at this and let me explain to you why your competition is showing up and why you're not, and this and that, and kind of give them this understanding of what SEO is and how it works. Not completely, I'm not breaking it down necessarily to some of the detail I am right now. It's more broader and general, but to give them that understanding so they can really see the value in what it is, and then close them on it. And then if you have that case study, that's really where that case study comes in. On SERPfocus.com, I have a free course on how I rank for Chicago SEO, and I made that a while ago. I haven't even touched that site in like 2 years, and it's slowly dropping in rankings. But um, I originally ranked for Chicago SEO. I honestly wasn't even trying to get more clients. It was just because, I stopped. I had so many different clients and um, different verticals. Like I had some in home improvement, I had some dentist, I had this and that, and I didn't really have something that I could point to and just say, "Look what I did." I go to a roofer and say, "Look what I did for this dentist," and he's like, "That's great if I want to sell root canals, but you know what I mean? It doesn't really carry as much weight." But if I can rank in the third largest city in the US for SEO services against other SEO companies, I was like, I could easily point to that and say, look what I can do. If you're going to get SEO from an SEO company, are you going to go with someone who can't even rank against other SEO companies? Or, you know what I mean? You're going to go with someone that can show results in their own industry that can show results in your industry as well, because that's what they do and that's what they're professionals at. So there was many different angles, providing proof, having testimonials, getting referrals from current clients is going to be a major way of generating business. And those sales are the easiest. I've converted like 90% of referrals. There's been a few that just didn't take because of the cost or the money or something, but 99% of the time referrals are going to go with you if they can afford you, because I mean that's why they called you, because of the trust factor that was built with whoever referred them normally. So,
So what is stopping a business owner from going to an actual legitimate experienced SEO agency than to some nobody college kid who is learning to do it? If that makes any sense.
you mean why would someone buy from a big company instead of you?
Yes, why would they get it from me than a actual giant SEO agency?
Honestly, I could say the biggest thing that has accounted for sales is positioning. When people not only see the value in your business and your service, but also, what you can provide. Because a business owner, like I personally, I've worked for a lot of businesses directly with the owners on growing their business. I've been a part of a lot of the same thing, investing in marketing and different advertising and things like that. And it's not a matter of if you have a 500 employee office, or, like when we wanted a website redesign, we just wanted a killer developer, someone who could, give us exactly what we wanted, exactly the way we wanted. I didn't want a team of 50 people working on my website. I wouldn't even know if that's what's best anyways. There's a result I was looking for, and when someone could provide that result and it was within my budget or what I wanted, then I mean I was looking to buy. Essentially, if they can give me what I was looking for the price I was looking for, or at least convince me, why the price that they were selling it at was what I was actually looking for. Um, that's pretty much it. And it comes down to positioning through whether it's a referral or providing some type of value up front. Like I said, my original sales pitch was really teaching about SEO, and it wasn't necessarily all the details of off page, on page, but it was me going, hey, look at what the competition is doing. If you did this, this, and this as well, you would have a competitive advantage in the search. And they don't have to hire me, but I'm willingly giving up this info, and I'm not just selling them on a sales pitch. My sales pitch was very little sales. The part of my sales pitch that was the sales pitch was, it's $2,000 a month if you want that done. It was very, now you get the price if you're ready to buy, but the most of that pitch was educating on what it was, and not only educating, but even telling them, or going
And
into some
because of that
detail on how to do it.
education, right, and because of that education, you're telling them what is going to be done for them, and if they want that done, they can certainly have that. That's very straightforward. I like that a lot.
Well, and they see what you're talking about too. And the thing about SEO, which you are experiencing right now, is when you talk to someone about SEO, the one thing that I can guarantee will always happen is they will have more questions. And they will have to dig and dig and dig, and whether you're talking to them for 2 hours or 5 hours, they're still not going to grasp it. And that's why I said it's so important that you get those websites and you start playing around and start testing, because when you finally do sit down with a client, what's going to happen is if you do educate them and you start going over, they could do this, they could do that, look at their competition's done this, or this is why they're outranking. not only are they going to have more questions, but they're really going to start to see the value in what you do. It's not like you just go to their website, throw up some keywords, and move some stuff around, and now you're paying you $1,000 a month just because you move some things around. They're going to see, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that, and there's keyword research and there's understanding
So
intent, search intent,
it's
and
it's that
social
it's that
media.
it's that illusion. Well, not illusion, but it's that principle that it is. I guess not. It's complicated. There's a lot of variables that need to be taken into an account. They see that there's value in that, and they think that it's worth the money that they're paying for.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, honestly, and you'll see it a lot in our industry. Honestly, the watching the marketing in our industry has helped me a lot in my client SEO business and in consulting and just a lot of different marketing campaigns that I've set up. Even on SourceWave or almost any of the blogs that you go to, I really don't do this much because I didn't create SERP Focus as an advertising avenue. I sell some stuff here and there, but generally what you'll see and start to realize if you watch marketers is they'll tell you things, they'll give you understanding of things, they'll teach you how to do things. If you ever go on a webinar, they're going to teach you some stuff and they're going to tell you how to rank a website or how to do this or how to optimize a page, and do all this keyword research and put all the content together in the proper way and structure it and put it on the website. But then at the end of that webinar, they're going to sell you a tool that does the research, builds the page, puts it on the website, all in 3 clicks. Because they're telling you what you need to do. They're educating you. They're giving you this value on what they can do to help their business, help their problem of getting more clients or getting more exposure through search or whatever that is. But now that they understand the value of that and understand the difficulty, the headache, what it entails, and the testing involved, now that you have a solution where you could say it's this much a month, or we can do that and take care of that for you for a flat rate, whatever that is, that's when they buy because they've put the concept in their head. They understand what they need to do. They think they know how to do it, but there's still that fear that it's not going to work. But now you take away the fear because you're the professional, you know how to do it, and you're going to sell it to them and you're going to give them that ease and comfort that it's just being done right and they're getting that result that you initially sold them on to begin with.
Okay. Wow. So there's two things. There's two last things I want to go over because I don't want to be consuming your time based off everything that you told me. You seem like a pretty busy person, but so out of courtesy, I'll narrow it down to two last things I'd like to discuss. So the first thing would be, it sounds like before I just jump straight into just pitching, um, ranking people's websites, it sounds like I need to know what I'm doing, of course. So how long should I mess around with this WordPress thing and ranking fake websites and understanding the UI and how everything works? How long should I spend my time doing that before I'm ready to actually get into the money?
When you realize that you can pick a keyword and you can rank a website for it, I would say you have a good enough foundation. I mean, don't just pick any keyword, some long tail thing that's, some arbitrary keyword means nothing. If you pick Plano plumbers and, you go on your phone and you set the geo coordinates to, Plano in Illinois and you search for it and your website pops up with your Google My Business listing and other stuff or whatever, then you have that fundamental understanding. But more importantly, it's not about how much time because from the moment you register that first domain and start testing, you never stop. You never stop playing with new websites. You never stop building new properties, building private, PBNs or private blog networks. I'm not even sure if you've dabbled or heard about that at all, but you never stop. It is constantly ongoing. The search engines change, strategies change, new things are developed, other strategies get more, saturated, become less effective because Google catches on. Whatever it is, the industry is constantly moving, just like life and everything else. To be honest, it's always
Yeah.
constantly moving and changing. But it's not. Don't. I wouldn't say it's a matter of how long. If you're saying how long until you're ready, it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of understanding and confidence. If you can pick a keyword and rank for it and you're confident in your understanding of what you did to make that happen, then I feel you are you can enough to go and get your first client. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then
Wow.
you should build another site and do it again. You know what I mean? You don't just stop because, oh, I ranked one, I'm confident, now I go sell the client. Now you're working on a client. You can start working on another site. Maybe you get another one ranked, and then maybe you rent out the first one or use them both as case studies, whatever that is. But constantly be testing. And even if you build a site and it doesn't rank, but you try some different things. Maybe you get it to page two with like one or two links and get kind of an understanding of anchor text, or I have a ton of sites that I've played around with that are doing nothing. Like they're dead or stuck on page two or three because I spammed them with link tools or whatever. But that process of playing around and learning and studying new methods and tactics, you never want that to end ever.
Okay, great. But that's I'm going to be doing that. So that's on time, but in terms of the tools and the resources that I'll need as someone who's a rookie in the SEO world, what are the beginning tools? And actually, I'd also like to ask how much money should I my startup capital for SEO? Um,
Um, okay, so first of all, and I'll go over some tools in a second. And first of all, though, as far as startup, for me, like I said, I had $0. I invested absolutely no money into my SEO business. I got my first client, which was my boss, and then I got my second client, who was a paying client, which funded the growth of my company and just led into more and more clients. Um, but it is that initial cost that I said I learned how to rank a website with my boss's money, essentially. I had the advantage that I was able to get that money to play around. And if you could find someone that's willing to invest in your SEO learning, or, invest in, you kind of doing their SEO for them with the understanding that you are learning. You don't want to sell someone a promise that you can't deliver. That's definitely the worst thing you can do. But as far as learning SEO, you need to spend $10 on a domain. You need to spend 5, $10 a month on hosting. You can get like an easy blog networks hosting for a private blog network and buy, like, 5, 10 websites. So it's $100, $30 a month. So I mean, you're talking a few $100s over the course of a couple of months, assuming you're writing your own content and doing most of the labor intensive stuff yourself, like creating a Facebook page and a Twitter page. And I mean, you're going to want to do all that stuff anyways to really get your hands dirty and understand, like, create a Yelp listing, create a listing on Angie's List, create, citations. There's a citation list on SERP Focus. But I mean, you can go to Fiverr.com too, buy some Fiverr gigs for some citations, play around with those. I don't suggest doing any like major backlink campaigns or anything from Fiverr, but you may want to buy 2 or 3 websites too. Spend $30 on 3 websites. All your other costs will remain about the same because you can utilize all those resources for those same 3 sites for the most part. And then just really dig in. Really just start putting content and building it. But you don't need thousands of dollars to get started. Really, what you need is to just start. Assuming you don't have $0, which sounds like at this exact moment that might be your case, but I'm assuming you're not going to be broke forever. At some point you'll be able to afford $10, $20. Go get a URL, go get a hosting account, and don't even really worry about the rest of the cost. Get up a website, start typing out content, doing some keyword research. And early on, keep your cost as low as possible. So, like, when you start talking about SEO tools, and the more you dig into this industry, you're going to see people selling stuff everywhere. There's always going to be a shiny new object, some new tool to buy, or something that's going to solve all your SEO problems or get you ranked in 24 hours. And when you're first getting started, I would advise staying away from most of that stuff. I'm not saying don't buy training, don't buy products. If you have some money to invest, and there's some good training, some good reviews, some people you trust that support it, go ahead. Definitely good stuff to get involved in, training and tools. But when you're first starting, if you have very, very little money, you don't want to spend $80 a month on, an SEM Rush account. Go get a group buy for $5 a month. Even Majestic, you don't need a Majestic account, an Ahrefs account, and an Open Site Explorer account. Like you don't need all three of them. You can sign up for the free accounts, use them, a little bit here and there, get a reseller account for Ahrefs. Um, or maybe not, if you're not doing link analysis right now and you just, like I said, buy that domain, buy the hosting, but just get started. You know what I mean? Buy the stuff as you need it as you go along. You'll start learning, you'll start seeing, oh, I need this, I need that. Get to know people in the industry, really, talk with people, get in the groups, all the SEO groups that you could find. Local Client Takeover is a great one. Personally, I feel like they're the best kind of all-inclusive if you want to get into making money online, especially with SEO. They got a great membership, great paid training, but they also just have a great free course and a lot of great people in there that help out a lot. But you know, keep your money, unless you have money to play with, don't focus on like, I need to buy this tool, I need to buy that tool, or I need, this set of tools to get started. Start ranking your website, buy the tools as you go. You might end up ranking your website and realize that one of those tools you didn't really need and you don't use it often or you don't keep it, whatever that is.
Mhm.
But you don't want to buy a bunch of tools just because you're going to need them. Buy them as you need them. If you're on a group buy because you need a Majestic account, but then you find out you're using Majestic like 20 times a day and you have like 2 or 3 VAs in there, and the group buy doesn't work for that because you're limited, then you go upgrade and get a regular account, spend the $50 a month, or, $150 for 3 months, and invest that money. But don't buy anything in this industry because you might use it or you could use it, because that's what I found was my biggest downfall. Because of all the shiny objects and fancy new courses, there's a lot of cool stuff. It is a lot of cool stuff. I love looking at the sales pages. I love buying stuff and playing around with it. But if you don't have a clear understanding of what it is and what you're going to use it for right now, then there's no point in buying it, in my personal opinion. I got WordPress plugins I bought 3 years ago because they could increase your conversions by 30%, but at that time I didn't even have websites with traffic. I'm going to use that someday. I'm going to have a website that's killing it, and I'm going to want those 30% increases, but I got to buy that $50 plugin right now, so I have that ready to go. Yeah, still never used it. So
All right.
that's my advice on that.
The last thing is definitely the resources that I can use now and the places to get these domains and then I think the only resource that I know about is WordPress, and that's what is the point of WordPress? That's where you make your website off of, right?
Yeah, WordPress is so there's like WordPress.com,
Mm-hmm. So website
and
build.
that WordPress.com is a social site that anyone can sign up and create a website and have it hosted on WordPress.com, or use their or you could use a custom domain with WordPress.com platform. But WordPress.org is the software that WordPress.com is built on. It's the software that allows you to easily add a theme or edit the widgets or put on content. So what you would do is you register a domain name on, say, GoDaddy. I use GoDaddy a lot. They got good prices.
Okay.
Register a
Sorry.
domain name on GoDaddy.
I'm writing that down. GoDaddy is domain. GoDaddy use.
Yeah, and there's also Namecheap. Namecheap is a good one I use a lot too.
So I purchased the domain from GoDaddy, and WordPress is the website builder. WordPress.org is the software used to modify the website.
No, WordPress.org this is where see how it says download WordPress? So you could download this and then you upload it to your server for your hosting. Most hosting companies will have an easy installer for WordPress. So it's really simple. If you go to YouTube or say you get say you go to like HostGator, they're pretty cheap. I honestly wouldn't recommend HostGator.
You would
There's
not
a huh?
you would not recommend HostGator?
No, I would not. They used to be good. They're crap now. They're definitely cheap. Namecheap hosting actually seemed pretty good the short while I was using it, but I honestly haven't used it enough to really say how good it is. Liquid Web is, from the general consensus, one of the best hosting there is. So if you can afford something on here, I think they have shared hosting or something. I just signed up with them a little bit ago. I'm about to move my websites over, but I got a dedicated server, or the VPS hosting. So, but yeah, if you can get a hosting with them, they're definitely the best from what I hear. Again, I haven't had too much experience. Namecheap is a little cheap too for their hosting, and from my limited experience, they were pretty good. HostGator, I have their hosting right now, and I hate it, so I wouldn't recommend them. But
Okay, so Liquid Web is like the expensive, refined domain hosting,
they're a high quality hosting company. Yeah.
right? And then Gator is the one to avoid. They're cheap. And what was the other one? Namepress?
Namecheap has some hosting accounts. And like I said, get involved in the SEO groups. Ask around too. What hosting are you using? Get to know people. Liquid Web, like I said, across the board, anyone I've talked to that uses Liquid Web stands behind it 100% and seems to recommend it. So that's why I'm switching to that. So if you could do something there, I'd highly recommend it.
And
And then
who did you use when you were first starting out with SEO?
who was I on? Actually, it was HostGator. Yeah, it was HostGator when I first started, and then I dropped HostGator many years ago, and then about 2 years ago, I went back with HostGator, and it was not the way I remembered it.
If you don't mind explaining, what is wrong with HostGator? Is it just that they're bad performance? Is
Their
it
support is horrible. From my understanding, they were bought out from a different company or something. The support was moved offshore. They suck at providing support. Their servers seem to always have problems, so their websites are going down. They run really slow. That's just my overall experience. And I think Liquid Web too. When you sign up with the hosting, ask them about the WordPress installer. But like I said, most of them come with the WordPress installer. Sometimes you have to pay like an extra $5 or something, or $10 a month for that feature. But it's a really simple thing. You go in and you just like put in the info and click a button, and it'll install it and give you the login URL. And like I said, all that WordPress stuff, I wouldn't worry. Any questions that you have for me right now about WordPress or installing WordPress, just go to YouTube and search it. All that technical stuff, you can learn in 20, 30 minutes by watching a YouTube video and just following it, step by step.
okay? Alrighty. Let me put that down. Alrighty. So I will be using GoDaddy for the domain, and I'll use WordPress for the software to build the website, to design it, and do all those kinds of things. Is there anything else that I need to
Well,
know?
you need a hosting company. So if you use Liquid Web or Namecheap or whatever you use, so yeah, and then get a
So
website
GoDaddy,
up.
is GoDaddy a hosting company as well?
GoDaddy offers hosting. I've had one experience with them, nothing really bad, but I've heard a lot of people don't like GoDaddy, so I usually stay away from them for hosting, just because I like to follow the crowd sometimes.
Okay, so
But
then most likely use Namecheap since that you've had a good experience with them and they
I
seem.
had a good experience. Yeah, they didn't seem to have many problems. And like I said, it is your first couple of sites too. So you can get a better hosting or switch it over, and you're just playing around with it. So I think Namecheap, HostGator honestly is sufficient. It sucks. But Namecheap's probably your best bet for some cheap hosting.
So for playing around, maybe HostGator wouldn't be that bad, just for playing around with my first couple of sites.
Yeah, and I mean I would look at like what type of hosting, because like if you could host like 5 or 10 websites on like a Namecheap shared hosting. Um, So like $10 a month. So this one right here, 988. Oh, that's a year. Wait, renewal price 38. Wow, 988 a year. That's pretty cheap. I'm sure that's not the plan I was using, but even this one, it's 1988 for the year. This is their shared hosting. I think I was using their reseller plan, to be honest. But if you pay $20 or even $10 right here, go register 3 websites. So that's $40, and you have 3 domains and hosting, and you can start playing around with 3 sites for $40.
Okay, alrighty, I'll do that for sure.
And like I said, for a $10 investment for the year, you're not really shooting yourself in the foot if the hosting doesn't work out. So, just really start digging in, getting your feet wet, and and getting your hands dirty and start building, a few sites, build out social properties, Facebook, get into local client takeover. I know SourceWave has some good basic, beginner information. I know they have some paid courses. Like I said, local client takeover, they have local profit breakthrough. That's my go-to course. That it's really the only paid, like monthly paid course. I think it's like $50 a month, but they do have like a lifetime membership or something.
And
Um,
social media plays something into all of this, like so, like my Facebook and Twitter and all those kinds of things actually.
yes, yeah, and there's a lot. Let's see, now that's just another thing we can go way deep down between
Oh,
IFTTT and
that, that,
syndication networks.
that's advanced SEO. I
But
see.
yeah, and it's not so much that it's advanced, it just takes some time to understand. But at the end of the day, what you need to understand about SEO is that it's really coming down to two things, and that's content and backlinks, or references, you can call them, because it doesn't necessarily have to link to your website to kind of carry some weight or relevance. It could be, a schema markup or a citation without a link, many different things. But when you look at a Facebook page, it's a website online, has content, links to other websites. It has a
Right.
certain amount of SEO value. Not all websites have the same amount, whether they allow no follow links or do follow, or there's people testing, and once you start getting involved, you'll want to start doing some tests and playing around with things, seeing what properties actually provide the most optimization value, if Facebook is a powerful one, or maybe you just want to focus on your Twitter and, Delicious and something else. But essentially, if it's a website and it has content on it, and you can put content on it, and you can link to your site, and you can build relevance, build authority, build any of that kind of good stuff that you'll learn more about as you're getting more and more into SEO, that's a positive asset to an SEO campaign, or can be a positive asset. Doesn't
Right.
mean it has to be or will be.
That'll definitely be further down the road. I want to go ahead and make my first website as soon as possible. And I will, and like you said earlier, referring back to the top of my notes, there's no perfect niche. It's just, it's everything is pretty much, it's just about population and those kinds of things. So there's no perfect niche. So I can generally just choose anything.
Yeah, and anything that you are a little familiar with, I mean, will be a little bit easier because, like I said, certain industries have certain terminology and things that you may not
Right.
be 100% familiar with. But if you have an understanding of, handyman services, or like you play the piano, if you went after like piano lessons or something, not so valuable as a case study if you're going to try and market a dentist. But if you want to try and, piano lessons in city or wherever you're at, um, and then rank that, maybe find someone who sells piano lessons and sell them services. But
See, that's a,
finding something something about, maybe you're interested in, or if it's a vertical that you're possibly going to target, or something that you can make a case study, all good reasons to pick a
so
niche. But
I could potentially market like small little car dealerships because there's so many around here.
You you can market anything. That's why I said in the beginning, man, the opportunity is endless. You
I
can
love
start
that.
your own piano lesson business.
That's
You could start your own business as a anything, and drive sales through the internet, and build your company or your business for anything. Consulting, online advertising,
wow.
piano lessons,
That's
plumbing,
so cool. That is amazing. I love this. This is cool. I get I get the sense of thrill and adrenaline with all this internet stuff. This is cool. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
like you're right for the industry then.
I love it. Thanks so much for your time, Michael. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's
no problem,
awesome.
man. It was a pleasure talking. Definitely stick around SERP Focus. Get in the Facebook group if you're not in there, and ask any questions. I'll be around. Hit me up. And get involved. Just start talking to people. Start playing around, and I'm sure you'll get to where you're trying to go quicker than ever if you just keep at it.
Yeah. This is gonna consume a lot of my time. I'm gonna, other than piano, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put away the I'm gonna have to deactivate my Steam account and all my stuff because I'm gonna be on this a lot.
Well, hey, Steam might be another optimization platform that you could use. You put content, you link to stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Steam account. I haven't really played around with it, but it looks like some cool stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, just get dirty with it. You know what I mean? Just go balls to the wall crazy, building sites, building links, learning, testing. Yeah, and you just stick with it. Fail as much as you
And all of
possibly
this,
can, and you'll
and,
get
and
there.
all of this is enough for you to live comfortably. Like, if I don't want to get too personal, but like, do you live comfortably with all this SEO and internet marketing stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just 2 months ago, I just moved from Chicago to Las Vegas. Packed up my family, shipped all of our couch and everything cross country, just, kind of laid low for a week while we moved everything here and got set up and, paid for the move and, still paying the bills. I go out, have a good time. I'm by no means, rich or multi-millionaire or some of these, big guru guys that are, selling SEO training and things like that. And honestly, money was never my biggest motivator in general. I love what I do. I got freedom to do it whenever, wherever I want. If I wanted to pick up and move to another state in a few months, I could do that. And yeah, I mean, it's very lucrative. There's plenty of money and plenty of opportunity because, like I said, you can do anything. Like even for me, I originally went into small businesses and kind of helped them build out their infrastructure and scale their business. If I didn't want to sell SEO services, I could start that business back up and just start doing my own services for my company and do a consulting service or whatever, I want to do outside of SEO, or I could do that alongside my client SEO, whatever that is. It's endless. You know what I mean? You could make
Right.
5,000, 10,000, 50, 100, $300,000 a month with SEO. Not necessarily client SEO, but with just the overall umbrella of the opportunity that's out there.
Wow. Yeah. This certainly beats this beats the shit out of sitting in a classroom all day. I'll tell you that. All right, Michael. Well, thanks so much for your time. It feels good to have like a mentor who's done this for quite a long time now, be able to tell you which way to go. Because I've tried to reach out to multiple people and I've just gotten either read messages with no response or just kind of like, hey, just you go to my course that costs money because I like money and stuff like that. So I appreciate it, but I will definitely keep you updated. I will go ahead and get my domain and all these things you recommended. And once I have my first web page with content, I'll send you the link and you can go and take a look at it. But that's of course after I get settled into college and I have all my things together and yada yada yada. But yeah, I'll definitely keep in touch. I appreciate it though.
Yeah, no problem, man. And like I said, get in the SERP focus group, ask questions in there. I love answering questions in there because then everyone kind of gets to learn and see from what everyone else is doing. So
This is
get
on
involved in
Facebook.
there.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this.
If you go to Facebook,
Wait a
just
second.
Facebook, you should just be able to search for SERP focus. I'm assuming it would come up. SERP focus. Uh, yeah, here's the closed group. There's a closed group. There's a page and a closed group. So if you go to the closed group and ask to join, I'll add you there. And then if you go to my blog, it's serp-focus.com. I have some training videos on here and some other stuff. Honestly, this isn't basic kind of stuff. So a lot of this stuff would probably be a little confusing and may not be really what you're looking for. Because like I said, I didn't really start this site just to like funnel people into my SEO training or anything like that. It's mostly just random videos and things that I put together. But like I said, here's some business listings for stuff like that. So there's some resources on here. You can go through, watch the videos. Definitely some good stuff. But more importantly, get in the Facebook group. And if you have questions about the videos or you have questions about anything in general, you could ask in there. And I love nothing more than to get information out there. Like I hate just sitting in a private message, and that's why I'm filming this video now, because when I'm just sitting in a private message helping someone with their SEO, I'm just thinking to myself, man, how many other people, if they were just like in on this, could benefit? You know what I mean? So I really like to get the conversation public as much as possible.
Right. I'm going to I think I'm going to still be in school for X amount of time, and as I get more and more deeper into this world, I'm going to slowly just back away, and people are going to wonder where I went, and hopefully with the newfound success that I get into SEO, people will be shocked and be like, Brian, what are you doing? How are you? What are you? Where are you working now?
Well, yeah, just dedicate that time, man. I mean, if you're in school, if you can get 2 hours a day, like you just get take that time. Like me, you ask almost anyone in our industry, they'll probably tell you, I don't have time for anything. I don't got time for that. For me, the only time I have is the time I make. And then whether I'm going to school or if I have meetings or family events or whatever that is, um, when I need time, I make time, and that's really the only time I ever have. So if you could just make that time, that 2 hours, whether it's, you get up an extra hour earlier, go to bed an hour later, and have that 2 hours in the morning or that 2 hours at night, the longer you wait to start, the longer it's going to be before you can get going and get to where you want to go. You know what I mean? You're just prolonging the time it's going to take to get there if you're waiting. So I would highly suggest just making that time. Obviously go to school, take care of your priorities and things that you got with that. If you're spending money, you don't want to just throw that away. But
Right.
definitely make time to pursue your dreams and what you really want to do. You know what I mean? If school isn't your main priority, then why wouldn't you make a little bit of time to do what your main priority is if that's all you can do right now, if that.
Right. Well, definitely what my main priority is financial security and privilege and freedom. And it seems like, based off someone who is um, into SEO and has that lifestyle of privilege and freedom and getting to be, flexible and not having to work this endless 9 to 5 job like everyone else is. That's what I want. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to be like Alex Becker and have a multi-million-dollar thing going on, but I mean, you still have this flexibility that a lot of other people don't have, and that's what I want. So I feel like SEO is something that is worth learning and getting into, and it seems fun. So,
Definitely.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Michael. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But I appreciate it, and I'm actually in the group right now. So
Oh, okay, cool.
if
Perfect.
you ever have any questions, I'll post in there. But you go ahead and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, yeah, man, you too. You have a great one. I'll see you around and I'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty, bye bye.
Bye.